Welcome back, everyone. A lot is happening in Edo State ahead of the September governorship election. And in the last few days, the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has declined to nullify the primary election that produced Afegbua as the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, for the impending governorship election in the state. The court rather went ahead and awarded a cost of 1 million naira against the appellant and in favor of the respondent in the matter. And this means that Afegbua is the candidate of the PDP as we speak. Meanwhile, in another development, the Edo State Police Commissioner of Police, Afegbua, has vowed to declare persons it invited over the killing of a police officer in Benin City last week wanted if they do not show up. Sadly, a police officer was killed in the state capital on Thursday. Also, reinstated Deputy Governor of Edo State, Shaibu, dumped the People's Democratic Party, PDP, and returned to the All Progressives Congress, APC. Shaibu made the announcement on Saturday in Benin City, the state capital. He was said to have rejoined the APC with leading members of the Dan Obi-led legacy group of the PDP. Meanwhile, the leadership of the Edo State chapter of the All Progressives Congress has called on the State House of Assembly to immediately commence impeachment proceedings against Governor Obaseki over his alleged threat to burn down the country. Also, Senator Monday Afegbua, the All Progressives Congress governorship candidate for the 2024 Edo State election, is facing fresh allegations of aid falsification. A lot to unpack tonight, so let's start by speaking with Kassim Afegbua, APC chieftain and political affairs analyst on Shaibu's defection to the APC and preparations ahead of the poll. Good evening to you, Mr. Afegbua. It's always a pleasure having you on Politics Tonight. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening for having me.
Right, so, first, Shaibu is officially back home. And for those who were confused about where he stood, it's now very clear. Not also forgetting that his political father had said APC is not for internally displaced politicians. So I'm wondering the kind of conversations that must have happened for Shomole to have accepted him, how easy or difficult it must have been for APC to receive back someone who had always said, I don't know, Lagos. Mr. Afegbua.
Well, thank you very much. That is the nature of politics. And essentially, a constitution of Nigeria, every Nigerian has the right of association, right of assembly, and you also have the right to join any political party of your choice. No one can stop you from doing that, but you are bound to subsume yourself within the rules and regulations of the party once you become a member. And so if Shaibu has decided to come back home, his initial party, it's a welcome development. We're in election fever, election season. We need all the centripetal and the centrifugal forces to combine forces and energy to be able to defeat the choice of the incumbent governor who has abysmally, underperformed in the state. So, as a Nigerian of voting age, you are free to join any party of your choice. So the APC has been magnanimous. It kept its flanks open to any Nigerian, particularly in Edo State now. You are free to come, you are free to participate, but you must live within the rules and regulations of the party so as to be able to, exhibit civilized conduct in the course of your membership.
But Mr. Afegbua, do you doubt his genuineness and loyalty, considering how much has been said, how much has been done in the last 4 years while he was in good terms with Governor Obaseki? And, some say there's every tendency that he's back because he thinks the APC will win and may return if APC loses.
Well, I think you should know the political temperature of the PDP in the state as it were now. The temperature that has reached a boiling point such that the party has about 3 or 4 factions. And so the Shaibu faction is one of it. The Janobi legacy group is another. The Obaseki faction is one of it. And one other faction, a new PDP faction. So in such a situation, political players will naturally find their bearing based on the reality sound. So for Shaibu, who tried to contest for governorship under the PDP, for whom Governor Obaseki took up arms against in terms of frustrated effort, he would naturally, as a political animal, as a political player, find a place that will at least somehow accommodate him so that he can also exhibit his own political preferences. And just like I said earlier, it's difficult for you to stop anyone from, pursuing any aspiration. What Obaseki did was like trying to breathe down his throat so that he would not be able to come out to contest the governorship. And they fought to a point that he felt that he couldn't tolerate that anymore. So when he came to the APC, of course there are conversations. There have been meetings with Comrade Adams Oshomole and all of that. Even with some of us who had very strong position and resistance in terms of allowing Philip to come on board. But in politics, the more the merrier. No one is perfect. He has learned his lessons. He has shown sign of penitence. He has also know that politics is like a cyclical game. One door in, another door out. So I think coming back now, second time and with the kind of scenario.
And the PDP thinks, Mr. Afegbua, the PDP thinks there is nothing to celebrate here. I mean, they say it's good riddance for a man who has consistently lost his unit and word and cannot be described as a grassroots politician. So really,
for me, I don't really care about what the PDP will say, because you don't expect them to celebrate him. When he was coming to the state, you remember what happened on Thursday last week? How they sent thugs to attack him. If it was good readers to bad rubbish, why did they send their thugs to come out to go and attack him at the airport? So it's convenient for them to that, because they feel, oh, we have lost the big fish, whether you like it or not. Being a deputy governor, it must have been good to some people, it must have been to certain persons. Even if he's bringing about his vote and that of his wife, is enough for us. There are scenarios where two votes can make a difference. So we keep our flanks open. We're going to work together. He has already started campaigning, going out. Today he was in Auchi, where the women of APC were doing an empowerment program and all that. So it's good news for us. We will tolerate all shades of opinion, all manners of persons, because the overall interest of the party is for us to defeat the PDP in the state that is presently factionalized, that is quarrelsome, that is compactive. And you had a governor telling his member that he was going to burn down Nigeria.
Right. We'll get to that in a minute, Mr. Afegbua. We'll get to that in a minute. Right. But would you say that Edo State presently has 2 deputy governors? Because, last Thursday I had a conversation with the spokesperson of the PDP Campaign Council, who says Omobayo Godwins is the deputy governor of Edo State. He says Philip Shaibu should have waited because the Federal High Court was a court of first instance. And having found an appeal and a stay of execution, he should not have resorted to self-help. So does this mean Edo State now has 2 deputy governors? And I'm also wondering the impact of this on governors in Edo State and the people.
On point of law, and this is, we are looking at a scenario that this country is a same country. On point of law, we only have 1 deputy governor. And that one governor is Philip Shaibu. And people must understand the rudiments of law as it relates to stay of execution or whatever. The judgment that Philip Shaibu got in the Federal High Court is a direct judgment. It's not the usual judgment you get and all that. That's why the court immediately it should be returned, because there was no vacancy ab initio. There are about 10 orders, order 1, order 2, order 3 that were granted and all that. And the court directed the Inspector General of Police to immediately reinstate him. If the governor now wants to breathe down his throat by visiting his whims and caprices on him, by twisting the law upside down and thinking that because he's governor, he's a demigod, that's a different matter altogether. But on point of law, And this is a simple society, and democracy relies so heavily on rule of law, due process. And so you cannot file an application for stay of execution that has not been granted, and you allow the judgment to be festering without being attended to. So you have filed a stay of execution, you have filed your appeal, but there has not been judgment. Because it's a declarative judgment, it is bound to be executed almost immediately. The implications of that is why that was why the airport to try to frustrate him from coming into the state, use their thugs and what have you, to just cause distraction. And so if Obaseki says Omobayo is the deputy governor, whatever Omobayo does from the day that Philip Shaibu was reinstated up to their exit date, if he collects a couple, it will be refunded to it. If he spends anything that concerns the state government, because as far as we are concerned, he's no longer a public officer in the status of a deputy governor. The deputy governor is Philip Shaibu, and that must be respected because that is the position of law. The verdict of the court or the Federal High Court of Law, Federal High Court Abuja must be respected because the court stated earlier that there was no vacancy ab initio. So the idea of saying that that was pushing him away by a spurious impeachment process does not exist. So when governors have had so much powers to themselves, the likelihood that they will misbehave is very obvious. So for Edo now, from point of law, the Shaibu is the governor. But from the point of the Obaseki People's Party, OPP, is Omobayo.
And I'm wondering how Edo people received this news and the impact of these on governance in the state.